Hello, and welcome to my review of Helltaker. If you're new here, I do have a full playthrough of Helltaker on the channel. If you're interested in that, you can check that out, just because all I'm going to be talking about is my personal experience through my playthrough, but yeah, we finished Helltaker, a bit ago, and I really enjoyed it. I am very new to puzzle games. Actually, I guess I should first mention that it was part of my horror month. I play a lot of stuff, horror stuff in October. Obviously, Helltaker's not a horror game. It was kind of me chickening out because I get scared easily, but it is like a horror theme. Weeb horror theme, which kind of goes with my channel, which is mainly a weeb variety channel besides the horror sometimes. But no, I really did enjoy myself. If you've watched the playthrough, there's a couple parts where I kind of lost my head and raged super hard. But it's just in the moment, obviously. When I say stuff, it's usually not, probably shouldn't take it too seriously, especially if I'm mad. But I'll be honest, I usually don't get mad a lot, so it's kind of invoked this sort of frustration in me. But before we get into that more, I am pretty new to puzzles. I've really never done them as a kid. They just didn't really interest me. So I've slowly been getting into puzzles. When I first started, like, my first puzzle-based game on the channel, I've never played like a full puzzle game like this, but you know, sort of adventure games, point-and-click games that require puzzles and stuff like that. I was horrible. I'd like to say I'm pretty decent. And I think I did pretty well in Helltaker. There's only, I think it was just one puzzle where I did give up and just looked at a walkthrough. Everything else was just trial and error. You know, besides the the bosses were also trial and error, but that was a whole different beast. I did enjoy the gameplay loop. I like that kind of puzzle. Again, I don't have much experience with it. The only time I've ever done a puzzle like that, at least in modern day, maybe I did something as a kid like that, was in, but the only other time I've remembered that I did a puzzle like that was in 999, which is a game we played. And that was really fun in 999. It was actually like that whole room in 999 was my favorite because I really enjoyed doing the puzzles there. So like going into it, I was kind of confident, and the puzzles were fairly laxed at the beginning. But Jesus, by the time we hit the DLC, don't introduce laser beams, man. My mind was done explodes. Because basically that sort of puzzle is just to solve it, it is just planning, right? It's just trial and error through planning. But I'm kind of an impatient person, so instead of planning it out, I would just do it on the spot and try to remember what I did wrong and stuff. But yeah, there's a couple hiccups for sure. I felt the DLC in terms of the puzzles was insane, like such an insane difficulty spike. I think the lasers just really like changed things up, which is good. I just because something's difficult doesn't mean it's bad. Actually, thought it was pretty good, challenging your mind like that. Story was good. Very simple story. Get your demon girl waifus and make a harem. I'm sure that's a couple people's dreams. But no, it was fun. I thought the characters were pretty likable. I mean, most side characters you don't have a lot of time with, and I didn't actually like interact with them every level that I probably should have, because you know I didn't really want to take a hint, but I'm pretty sure most of the times they weren't actually hints. It was just conversation between everyone. Aiden, what was your favorite girl? It's kind of hard to say. I like the boss lady. Who was that, Lucifer or Satan? She was kind of cute. I also liked Lust. I forgot are their names the sins or the demons. If it's Lust, the demon is Asmodeus, I believe. That's my Uminato knowledge coming in. 7 states of purgatory. But yeah, favorite characters. But yeah, simple story. but effective. I mean, it's a one type puzzle game. You don't really need a super well in-depth story. And, it's obviously working because the game's extremely popular and has a pretty big fandom, so. And I guess that's also due to the art. I thought the art was very good. Obviously, the character portraits were very well done, while the gameplay itself was simple but charming, I would say. Very cute. The skeletons. um, yeah. Music's good. I'm playing the soundtrack right now, if you couldn't tell. I usually don't listen to this kind of soundtrack. It's usually not in the games I play, but I guess this would be in a lot of, maybe not similar games, but I can imagine it in more action side scrollers or something. But no, they're a bop. I like how present they are because I'm always a fan of strong soundtracks. I like things that kind of, or soundtracks that take center in a game more so than atmospheric, which kind of takes a back step to the game. And it really works more in this type of game where there's not a lot of dialogue to take away from. But basically, I like the soundtrack. The CGs were good. There's a couple CGs, group shots. Comedy was good, goodish. I'm trying to think of it. Oh, okay, let's just talk about the boss battles, man. I was not expecting that, I was just there for a fun little puzzle time, sometimes it got hard, but the boss battles literally broke my mental. Like I said, I don't think I've ever gotten so mad before, or frustrated. Frustrated is a better word than mad, to be fair. But I was losing my head. Like when we did the chain one, it's honestly like almost embarrassing to hear myself, but in a way it's kind of funny, so. And again, the chain one is just, or both of them honestly is just it's not like there's any RNG, it's just memorizing, and I think it is a lot of muscle memory. Like I'd be very surprised if somebody beat both of them. I mean, there's no way you can beat the DLC boss in one try, to be fair, but I'd be very surprised if they didn't have like a couple chances just to learn the pattern. But I was losing my head. I don't really play a lot of games that are reflex heavy. I'm more of a laid back gamer. I like adventure games, like I said, point and clickers, just stuff where you set the pace mainly. But so I'm not really used to this type of boss. I know a lot of games are more challenging with those type of bosses, but it's really new for me, so I was very overwhelmed. And like once you beat them though, you're so happy. But we gotta talk about the DLC boss. So we did play the DLC too. Like I said, the puzzles were much harder. The speed puzzles were surprisingly easy, I thought. Like there's two where you don't actually think, you just gotta go fast. But they were very satisfying to beat. I did prefer them to the laser puzzle. The laser puzzle just fried my brain. It was too much to calculate for me. But the boss, oh my god. The boss was pure suffering, dude. And it was only 30 minutes. It felt like I was literally on it for like an hour. It was insane how much it drained me. If you watch the playthrough, literally by the end while we're reading the epilogue, like there's so much adrenaline in me. I can barely form words in my head, dude. I was so lightheaded. It's such a weird experience, but again, good. I guess good, very satisfying to beat. Probably the hardest boss I've beaten in a while. I guess there's probably harder bosses in like Dark Souls 2. I think that's the last game I played that was like super hard. And God knows when that was, like at least eight years. No, maybe not 8 years ago, but like 6 years ago. So I was super rusty. So but yeah, challenging but fun. Turned into a psychological horror with the bosses. But no, I really enjoyed myself. It's not something I usually play, but I'm glad I took the plunge, took a little risk to play it. I thought it was very fun. Kind of fitting for the channel because of its weeb aesthetic, and you know, it's a free game, man. Very high quality for a free game. I hope he does make money somehow. I don't know if he has like a Patreon or something. I'm sure his next game will be super, or maybe I shouldn't say super, but will be very successful if he puts the same sort of quality work out. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Great time. No real complaints besides me losing my head, but that's just my fault. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this mini review. This is like an off-the-cuff review, not scripted. I'm pretty sure you could tell. But yeah, if you enjoyed, like I said, if you didn't check the playthrough, you can check that. It might be entertaining. And throughout the channel, there's stuff you might enjoy. I was trying to say horror, but again, this isn't really a horror game. There's weeb stuff you might like. There's puzzle stuff in the adventure games. Cat Lady, Franbo, 999 has some puzzles. That's probably like the closest because it's basically a puzzle mystery game. But yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you for your time, and maybe I will see you again in another video. But bye bye. Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I'm recording a bunch of reviews, so I kind of wanted to like at least mention my favorite moment of the game, since I've been doing that with other reviews, so I came back to this. Favorite moment of Helltaker. I mean, I kind of just want to say beating the final boss. It was like so, like I can't, it's hard to explain without you watching it. I think even if you're not interested in the full playthrough, just watching the final boss fight should be entertaining, because it literally was, it was too much, dude. There's so many times where I just thought like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna skip this, or I don't want to do this. But again, you know, that's the loser mentality, dude. And I think it was totally worth it when we won. I really reveled in the victory. But yeah, that's probably my favorite moment. Also, I guess I should mention, if I didn't talk about anything in this review, or talk about a certain topic or aspect of Helltaker, or if you just have any questions about Helltaker that I didn't mention in this review, feel free to comment. I will definitely respond to it. But yeah, goodbye for real. Bye bye.